Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and today we are going to make a gift card holder. This is going to be one of a series that I do, 12 different gift card holders, and I don't know what number this is going to be yet because I'm just filming them as I have them, and I love this one. This is one that I'm going to give to my son, and then I think I'm also going to give it to my daughter's boyfriend. So it's super cute. This one says, "Have a cool holiday." And it has a little Yeti on the inside who's snowboarding, and I don't know if you can tell, but let me just open it up and show you. He's on one of the little springy things, so he wiggles and wobbles. But what's really cool about it is when you open up the box, it has two areas, one with a little wibbly wobbly and one that will hold a gift card. Isn't that cool? I love it, love it, love it, and I think that you will too. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. And I got this whole idea from someone named Darby, and her website is rejoiceandcreate.com. She has marvelous ideas, and if you haven't heard me talk about her yet on any of my videos, you will, because this whole last quarter of this year I have been doing a lot of her things. I love her. She is amazing. I only wish that I knew her in person because I think she is incredibly fun. The only thing that I'm going to change from this one to the one that I'm going to do with you guys is I'm going to decorate my box a little bit. I chose white as my background just because I wanted it to look kind of snowy, but I'm going to add some snow panels to the three sides here. So I will show you that here in just a little bit too. So let me go ahead and get started with what you need. And it doesn't matter what little guy you use in the middle, or you can use a deer, or you can make it a totally different holiday, whatever you want. But I happen to use a couple lawn fawn sets. I use the Yeti or Not lawn fawn set, and I use this little Yeti, and I use the eye goggles and the gift and the scarf and the little snowboard, and I put "Have a Cool Holiday." So that was cute. And then for the banner, I used the Flippin' Awesome from Lawn Fawn as well. And I just used this little banner here, and I cut it out twice. Once using just white cardstock and once using the red glittered cardstock, which I don't know what I did with, but I know I have it. I went ahead and cut everything out so I'd have it ready. What did I do? Oh, it's right here, dingbat. It's right here. So I've stamped it and I've cut it, and then I've stamped and cut and colored my Yeti and all the pieces and parts that I told you about. And then you also will need a piece of backdrop. This measures 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. And then I also used a window sheet, which is what she recommended. I'm not sure that you have to have that. It might be neat to not have it, because then you could make the little Yeti boing, boing, boing a little easier. But I'm not sure if it would hold up these edges very well. So I think it serves its purpose with it being there. And I'm going to use it again. So this is 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. So these are both the same size. And then I cut for the one that I'm going to show to you. So this is a little different from hers. I cut another 2 3/8 by 3 3/4 backdrop, and I'm going to use that on the back of my box. So I have a total of 2 of those and one window one. And then I have a piece that measures, oh gosh, I forget what I measured it to be. I have 2 of these, and these are going to be the side panels. And this is 3 7/8 by 7/8. So I have 2 of those, and those will fit right here on the sides of the project. And this is just scrap paper that I had in my stash. And then for the actual base, the box, it's made out of 1 sheet of paper, and you do particular folds to make it work. And it is very important that you do the folds and the score lines, as I will show you. Not the folds necessarily, but it's important, well, which eventually makes it the folds, but it's important that you score it in the order that I tell you, because if you don't, it won't create the box correctly, and I know that from trial and error. So I need this to measure 6.5 by 10.5. So this is an 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to cut off 1/2 of an inch over here, and that will make it 10 8.5 inches. And I will double check that just because I don't trust my math right now, or my measuring right now. Go away, little cutter. 10.5, and then I need it to be 6.5. So, and it's 8.5, so I'm going to cut off 2 inches. And I will measure this just to make sure that this measures 6.5 inches as well. And it does, so good. So 6.5 by 10.5. And on the 10.5 inch side, I want to score it at 1 inch. And I like to do it this way just because it's easier for me. I score it 1 inch in, and then I will turn it and score it at 3.5 inches. 3.5, 4.5, and then 7. I'm going to pick this up just to look at it real quick. That one's kind of hard to see. 7, and then 7.5, and 10. So I will repeat those for you. It's 6.5 by 10.5, and on the 10.5 inch side, you score it at 1 inch, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches, 7 inches, 7.5 inches, and 10 inches. And then on the short side, we're going to score it at 1 inch. And I'm just going to double check with my mistake one to make sure that I have it right. Yes. So we're going to score this at 1 inch. And I'm doing the same thing. I put it in 1 inch, and then I'm going to turn it the other way and score it at 5 inches and 6 inches. So it's going to look like this. Now I am going to use my pen to kind of show you what I am going to cut off and what I'm going to keep. Let's see, I'm going to use, actually I think I'll use a pencil. Alright, so hopefully you can see these score lines. I think that you can, so they're all in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this so that the 1/2 inch score line is at the top, and I want it to be horizontal like this. Well, hello, Winnie girl. How's my baby girl? Oh, Mama loves you so much. You're a good girl. Coming to visit your mama? Have to say hello to my puppy. Oh, I love you so much, baby girl. Mama's working. Mama's working on her crafts. It's fun. Kind of like you playing with your toys. And then, so this half inch that's on this top, the only purpose of this is to make this little piece so that I can actually use it as a box and fold that in so that it will stay closed. That's the only purpose of that 1/2 inch, and that's the only part that I need it on. So I'm going to cut a lot of that top 1/4 or 1/2 inch off. So a lot of this is going to be coming right off, but not yet. I'm going to cut it off here, so I'm just going to write on the score line. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And then I'm going to cut this down, and then I'm going to remove this, I believe. And then I'm going to cut this down, and I'm going to remove this whole section here. I'm going to cut that down. This is the one that I'm going to keep. I'm going to cut this down, and I'm going to remove this whole section. So I will have, actually I think I can remove this too now that I think about it. Let's see. Flap. I'll have this flap and that flap. And then, oh wait, hold on. I don't need that flap. So on the top, I only need, sorry, I need a top flap and then 2 side flaps. So I need a top flap and then 2 side flaps. Okay, I think I messed up. This is where drawing it actually helps a little bit first. Okay, so I'm going to cut that off, cut that down, cut this off, cut that down, cut that down. Okay, so that's what this is going to look like. 2 flaps and a front. This whole T is going to come off and this is going to come off. And then on this side, this whole part will come off too. I don't need any of that. There to there. So that whole thing is going to come off. And then I'm going to cut down to here, cut down to here, and cut down to here. And then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 flaps to close in and make my box. That actually helped me too. So I'm glad that I did it that way. And then, I'm going to put my frame here, and then this one is going to be my background. So let's get started and I'll show you. It'll make more sense as I do it. But the frame, which is this, is going to be here, and then the background is that snow that you see there, which is going to be here. I know that sounds really funny right now, how it's all going to work out, but it will, and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to use the line, the pencil marks that I have, and instead of cutting it right on the line, I'm going to cut on either side of that score line. So I'm cutting the pencil mark off, and I'm making it a little easier to close. And I'm going to go ahead and make that angled too. The angles are so much easier when you're making a box. It allows things to fit together so much easier. So I highly recommend doing angle cuts on all of these. On either side of the score line, I'm just cutting that right off, and I'm cutting off the pencil mark. And on this one, you can see I have to cut off this whole thing. So I'm going to cut it at an angle on this side, and then I'm going to go right to the inside of the score line, just barely, and cutting off that whole score line. So it's like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that. I'm going to go just to the inside of that score line and cut. When I get to where my mark is, I see that I cut the whole thing, and I'm going to do an angle cut again, this time from the very top to that. So I'm cutting off that whole section, but I have 2 sections here. Same with this one, I need to have both sections, so I'm just going to go make the V, and then I'm going to make the V here, but I don't need this top section, so I'm just going to cut that at the score line, and then I'm going to cut this at the score line. And then I'm going to cut this one at the score line. Oops, I didn't do that very well. And then I'm going to go right to the inside of the score line and cut this whole piece off. And then I just need to cut this off. And I'm going to cut this one at a V as well. So now this is what I'm left with. And before I do anything else, I am going to go ahead and fold all the score lines and make sure that it all fits together the way that I'm expecting it to. So I'm just burnishing all the edges with my bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, I would recommend a bone folder for most of these folds, especially if you're going to do 3D projects or, well, because it's just so handy to have, not only to be able to make the score lines, but also to burnish and make the edges so crisp. It's even great for any sort of card making or any of that. It really is a great tool to have. And you can get them pretty much anywhere now, and on Amazon. They have Teflon ones, and I don't really know what the purpose of the Teflon is, but you know, I think I'm adding that to my Christmas list. So now that I have it all burnished, I'm just going to make sure that it folds correctly. So this is going to go in, and it only reaches halfway. So like it's only half of what this is tall, if that makes sense. So this is a 1/2 inch, this little piece, but this piece is 1 inch. So it's going to go at the bottom of that, because this is going to create our window. And if you remember, this is where I said we'd have the background paper. And then this is going to fold over, and then this is going to fold over, and this is going to connect there. There are two, oops, this is going to be at the bottom. There will be two. This is where the frame goes, and it works out perfectly. This will be the bottom of the box. I'll close that. This will be the top of the box. Now I do have this one where it connects at the front, which I don't think it really matters, whereas my last one connected at the back, but, or like the top opened at the back, but I don't really think it matters. The only thing that you might do is put a little thing there so that people will know that you kind of open it. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see how that would look if I did that on this one. I'm going to take a little 1/4 inch hole punch and stick it in here just a little bit. Try to center it. Where'd that paper go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So then I think it makes it a little even more obvious that this is where you pull up. So I guess I could do that to this one too, but I'll wait until after I've, oh no, I'm not going to decorate that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to this one just because. So I'm just taking my punch and just barely going in. Especially since this is the front of the card, I don't want it very much to be cut off. It's just a little blop. And now I'm going to go ahead and die cut the frame, but first I'm going to take a drink of my Kool-Aid. And I just have these frames in my stash. I'm going to use this one. It makes a decorative frame, but I just need the frame portion, so let me pull out my die cut. And when I'm putting this into the big shot, because this will stick out a little bit more, I'm making sure that I have this folded in, because I don't want that to get it, and it won't if you're, I mean, it measures 6 inches, so it will be fine, but I just want to make sure. So I am just laying this down and I'm centering the frame. Then I will put my top, oh goodness. Easier said than done. I want it to be kind of straight. That would be nice. Let me take a peek. Alright, that looks alright. I'm just going to send this through. Now I have the hole cut in there, and I have a frame here. that I can use for something else because I really don't need it. So what I do with these is I just put them in here. You can see I have the other one in there too. So there's that. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this inside, and it fits nicely, sandwiched in between the other sizes. So there we go. And then I have some extra little pieces on here that I'm just going to get off in the trash. Okay, so let's how should we do this? I'm gonna put the Yeti on before I put the box together because I didn't on this one and I had to like go in and put the Yeti in kind of goofily. So let's go ahead and build the Yeti, and then we will build the box. So for the Yeti, I am going to use my glue, and I'm going to take the Yeti himself and put some glue on the bottom of his feet, and that's going to be what goes onto the snowboard. And then I had a scarf on him, and I colored some of these with alcohol markers and then some of them with the Nuvo glitter markers. So the glittery ones are all the Nuvo. I really love that. So I'm going to put the scarf on him, and he's going to hold a gift. So I'm just going to put some glue on his hand where I want the gift to be. And then the goggles, I lifted up a little bit with a dimensional, so I'm going to take a couple of my small dimensionals like that. Sorry, there's like a hair caught on here. And I'm just going to put this right over his eyes, but I don't want it to cover his mouth, so I'm trying to be careful. That's really cute. And something that I'm going to do is use the little wobbly thing, and this is something that you can get online. I don't have the packaging, I don't believe, anymore. I will try to remember to link these down below. I get these on Amazon, and I think it's a package of 12, and they're really cool. They make it all, I'll show you. If you guys haven't seen me use it before, you'll. And let's see, I'm going to peel off the side that attaches to him, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this. There's a hard side and a soft side. The hard side goes on the project, and the soft side goes on the critter or whatever you're going to make have the spring action. And I do like to burnish that down pretty well. Okay, and then to make it so that he will be a little wobblier, I mean, right now he's very wobbly, but when you get him in the thing, sometimes it's hard to tell he's wobbling. I'm going to weigh him down a little bit by putting a few gemstones on his little snowboard. So I'm going to start with 3, and let's see how this works. These are just gemstones I had in my stash. And hopefully this will make it so that he will fling a little easier, and I won't know that yet until I put them on the box. So I'll let that dry for a second. I'm going to find the side that I have for the background, which is right here. I'm going to take my background and put that down, and I'm just going to use my glue for that. And this is the art glitter glue. It's made by the company Art Glitter. It doesn't have any glitter in it at all, but it is fast drying and clear, and I love it. I especially love that I can get that really thin line by adding this additional stainless steel, I think it is, topper, and then it also has stainless steel little pins that you put inside, and then it doesn't clog up, and it's nice, and the stainless steel doesn't rust, so it works out really well. And then I'm just going to put it together a little bit so I know which side my window goes. My window needs to go on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and do that too. So I'm just going to put glue all around the opening. And then I'm going to take my window, and it would be nice if I cleaned it off first. Might be picking up some stuff. I might be making it dirtier than cleaner, but oh well, it's fine. I'm just gonna put that down right on top. And I'm gonna let that dry. Turn it this way. And while that's drying, I'm going to put my little Yeti on. So this has double-sided tape on both sides, so or it has tape on both sides. You just have to peel off the backing. And this is the top, so this is the top. And again, I'm going to just make sure this is stuck on there really well. I'm going to hold this for a second just because I want to make sure that it's extra gluey. Drinking some of my watered down Kool-Aid. I accidentally left the water on while I was making my Kool-Aid, and most of the Kool-Aid came out, and it's just a 2-quart jug of colored water. But hey, worse things could happen for sure. Okay, so now that I have that down, I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to check it out by I can see it wibbling and wobbling. This does seem to work a little bit better than not having the little guys on there. I think you can see this one wiggling and wobbling a little bit more than maybe you can see this one. It does look like it's like lopsided, like it's hanging down up here. I kind of wonder if I shouldn't put a, you know what I'm gonna do? I might put another gemstone, but I'm gonna put it on the present so it's like off to the side, but it's at the top, so hopefully it's closer to the top, so hopefully it'll help make it leveled out. We'll see if this does anything, if this works or not. This is totally an experiment. I'm just trying to make sure that that it gets as much wobble as it can get, because that's one of the highlights of it. I do think this is better. Maybe even a penny would work, but I had these handy, so that's why I went with those. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and put my box together. Actually, I'll leave that open for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and put these sides on and the back, because I'm going to use some tear and tape for the actual building of the box. but I'll use my glue for this. I think I could use glue instead of tear and tape for the actual building of the box too. I'm sure that I could, but so why don't I? I guess I will just use I'll use glue. Tear and tape is kind of nice because it's super sticky and super, but I don't know, I feel like this art glitter glue does a fabulous job too. I don't have any problems with it. And when I think about gluing things, like as a kid, I mean, I always use just glue, paper on paper, and it works great. So I don't think I need to worry. I think there's sometimes hype to all of the stuff because, you know, it's extra product and extra fun stuff and more things to do. And I do think that the tear and tape has a great position in the craft world. I think it's very much needed, but I think for this project, I'm fine with glue. And now I think I'm totally overthinking it and talking about it way too much. So just do what you want to do. But I'm going to use glue on this one. I used tear and tape on that one. So I'm just going to close or put this down. So this is what it looks like, just so you know. So on the same side, like this is flat, I have the inside background, I have the outside, I have the two side panels, and I have the frame cut out and the windows actually attached to the back side. So nothing is on here except for this window is attached on this side. So now I need to put glue on this little section, and this is going to stick to the bottom half of that section. So I'm going to bring this in and hold it down, and actually I think I'll just do this to make sure that I have it as far down as I can get it. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of hold it in there. And that's going to be the section that actually holds the gift card. One thing that's kind of nice about the tear and tape too is once you put it on there, it's on there. And you don't have to wait for it to dry or any of that. Even though this doesn't take very long with the tear and tape, you don't have to wait at all. So that would be a reason, I guess, to use it. I didn't even think of that. But now I'm going to bring this end up and I'm going to, or this side up, and I'm going to match them up here in the back. But one thing that glue offers that tear and tape doesn't is that you can kind of wiggle it around. You have a little bit of wiggle room with glue that you do not have with the tear and tape. And I'm glad I had it for this because I needed it just now. Oh, that is cute. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold in the two bottom panels, or two bottom sides. I'm going to fold in the back, and then I'm going to fold the front down. And this front panel is where I'm going to put some glue. Do any of you guys actually put presents on your tree if you have a Christmas tree? Do you put presents on the tree? I have never really done that. I think I've done it maybe a couple of times just because I was being silly, but it's not like a custom or a tradition that my family has ever done. But I'm interested to see if anybody else does that. So now this is closed, and all that's left is to fold this in after you put your gift card in. So this isn't the actual gift card, but you will put the gift card right back there. And then you can close this up. Yikes. There we go. And it actually closes up really nicely. Yeah, that's really cute. And then with that little section, I think that's a help. And you can get your gift card out without ruining it. And there's my Winnie again. So cute. Winnie and the project, but Winnie's cuter. Winnie's cuter, aren't you, Winnie? Say yes, I'm cuter, Mama. Oh, you're such a good girl. So now let's do this little banner thing that I was telling you about. So these are cut from the exact same die, so these are the exact same size. Wayland's in here too. Hi, Way. But I want this to peek through with this in the background. So to do that, I just take my handy dandy scissors and I am just cutting like 1/8 of an inch away. I'm just following the cut line, cutting that off. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this. And I'm going to do the same thing to the top. And you don't want to cut like 1/4 inch off of just the top, because then it won't be even. So you need to do it on all the sides. And the more you cut, the more red will show. It's obviously, probably, but just so you know. And then this will fit right on there like that, and you'll see a little edge. Now I want a little bit more edge to show. What are you doing down there, monkey? Are you caught on something? No? You're just a big girl, aren't you? So I'm just a big girl, Mama. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. You're so cute. She used to fit underneath my desk and my chair so well. Now she's getting so big. Puppies grow too fast. The sides might be all right. I'll double check that here in just a second. I'm just looking more at the, yeah, I think that's okay. One of them might have something I hear. Dennis saying, hey, what do you have? Oops. So now I am going to just glue this to this. What do they have? He's not answering. And then I'm going to put this right on here. So I don't need to do the very ends of the banner because those will stick off of the box. And there we go. That is the project. Isn't that cute? Have a cool holiday. And I don't know, this thing doesn't seem to be wiggling any more than the other one does. So I don't know if the gemstones helped or not, but I guess it didn't hurt it. Oops. I don't know, but it is really cute. I think it's an awesome project, and I'm really grateful that she did it so that I could see how to make it myself and do it for the young men in my life, because I know that they will love it, and I think that the Yeti is super cute. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you guys have a fabulous day. Bye-bye!